Christmases were never meant to be harmless. Long before lights and gifts, the season belonged to judgment, punishment, and fear. The stories you hear about weren't told to entertain, they were told to keep people alive. For most of human history, winter was deadly, and Christmas fell right into the middle of it. Food was scarce, nights were long, and communities believed that something was watching closely during the holidays. So people created stories, not fairy tales, warnings. Tonight, this is the Christmas Folklore Volume 2. Dark holiday legends meant to enforce obedience, punish wrongdoing, and remind people that Christmas was a time to behave or suffer consequences. All right, number 1, the Christmas werewolf. Number 2, the Butzemann. Number 3, the Devil's Christmas footprint. Number 4, Frau Trude, the Christmas witch of punishment. Number 5, St. Nicholas Book of the Damned. So we're only doing 5 tonight, guys. This is going to be a shorter podcast. All right, so in folklore, the Christmas werewolf was a French tradition, referred to a specific intersection of lycanthropy and religious observation, where a person is cursed to become a beast due to their actions or birth during the Christmas season. The origin of this, 3, 2, 1. Origins and lore. The Christmas curse. In French, Canadian, and European traditions, a loup-garou is often a soul cursed for failing to perform religious duties. A common belief states that a person who fails to attend Mass or go to confession for several consecutive years, particularly failing to observe Easter or Christmas, is doomed to transform into a werewolf. It was also said that if you were born on Christmas in Poland or parts of Northeast Europe, that you're destined to become the werewolf as well. These were Christmas babies, and they were sometimes seen as being marked with a curse because they competed with the birth of Jesus Christ for attention. It says, unlike traditional werewolves who changed under the full moon, the loup-garou in some legends transform every night for specific periods, such as 40 or 101 days. During the 12 days of Christmas, it was believed that the larger groups of werewolf would gather together to prowl. Interesting. Okay, so basically, you've heard of the loup-garou. I've got a cat climbing up my chair. Pretty sure it's Jack. Yep. Anyway, so they believe that essentially, if you were born during the time of Christ, you would become a werewolf. And in Louisiana, they have what's called the loup-garou. So they believe that is a person who turns in from a human into a werewolf as well. But this one says that if you can spill the blood of one of the werewolves, you can either cut them or you can basically hit them with a rock and cause some kind of injury where they bleed, and you can say their name, that they will transform back. So that's pretty interesting. All right. So in Germanic folklore, basically in Germany, the Butzemann is a terrifying boogeyman or poltergeist, often associated with a darker aspect of the Christmas season and winter nights. So it's a faceless goblin. He is typically described as a faceless goblin or a ghost shrouded in a dark, heavy cloak. So that ring bells, guys? You know, we hear about shadow people all the time with the hat on so you can't see the face, and the cloak and the boots. Sometimes you can hear them walking, sometimes you can't. So terrifying roots. While a famous modern children's song portrays him as a dancing figure, his original folklore roots described him as much more sinister, a poltergeist with a rattling bones and schemes. He is said to hide in dark corners under beds or in closets, waiting to attack or snatch away children who misbehave or stay up past their bedtime. I think us adults, all have heard something similar to this, right? So, his role in the Christmas night terrors, he belongs to a broader tradition of Christmas night terrors in Germany, speaking regions, alongside with other figures. He's a ragged goblin-like companion to Saint Nicholas, who carries a sack and switches to punish naughty children. Interesting. So we talked about this on the last podcast. A similar ragged figure who visits homes on Christmas Eve to test children's behaviors. We talked about that, and we talked about Krampus. So yeah, basically he just punishes the bad kids. So, anyways, all right. Let's go on to the next one. The Devil's Footprint. This is from England. The Devil's Footprint to refer to a mysterious phenomenon that actually occurred in Devon, England, one night on the night of February 8th through the 9th in 1855. It follows a heavy snowfall. Thousands of hoof-like marks appeared in the snow, stretching across a distance of 40 to 100 miles. Interesting. And it shows a picture of what looks like goats' feet, essentially, hooves. The prints were approximately 4 inches long and 3 inches wide, resembling cloven hooves or donkey shoes. So it looks more like a goat. Says the tracks were reported to basically go over any obstacle in its way, and this basically went in a straight line for hundreds of miles. It went over homes, it went over fences, it went over all kinds of different things, including bodies of water. So they don't know exactly what it was, but I guess it happened again recently in March of 2009. So Goat Man maybe. But I don't know any goat man that could basically walk on water. Now, this is showing a picture of the hooves walking across a frozen lake, so that's possible. But maybe it hopped over fences, maybe it climbed up over homes, or they just didn't see the prints. But I guess they'd gotten quite a bit of snowfall, and so the prints basically walked in a straight line right over the homes and stuff, which is interesting. All right, the Frau Trude from Germany is also known as Mother Trude. It's a dark German fairy tale collected by the Brothers Grimm. So basically, this one's about a witch, and basically talks. Let me go into here because that's more information. She's a winter witch whose story is told during Christmas to frighten children into obedience. In the tale, children who ignored warnings and entered her home were burned alive. So again, it's Hansel and Gretel. If you've ever seen the movie Hansel and Gretel, or you've read the story to your kids or whatever, basically it's very similar to that. She basically lures kids in and cooks them, essentially. All right, so let's talk about the last one. So folklore says that St. Nicholas carried a book regarding every child's behavior. In European and American folklore, St. Nicholas is often said to have carried a large book, sometimes called a golden book, which records the deeds of children throughout the year. This transition serves as a moral guide for children, determining whether they receive rewards or are visited more by disciplinary companions. Again, we just talked about that. So whether they get in trouble or not. Nicholas used the book to determine if children had been good or bad. Well-behaved children are traditionally rewarded with treats like sweets, nuts, and apples. In the Golden Book, in many centuries, blah. All right, so it basically just says that in Europe, this ledger is known as the Golden Book. While Nicholas carried the book of good deeds, his companions carry a separate book recording sins or bad behaviors. Interesting. So we kind of know this story too. You know, he had his list for the naughty and nice here in the United States. But interesting. And it talks about Krampus and it talks about all this stuff. So this is going to be a short podcast, guys. We're not going to be doing this all night long. If you guys, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this up. These stories weren't meant to make Christmas magical. They were meant to make it safe by enforcing rules, obedience, and accountability during the most dangerous times of the year. Christmas wasn't always warm. It was strict. It was watched. And these legends make you, if these legends make you uneasy, that means you're still doing what they were meant to do. This has been Christmas Folklore Volume 2 Holidays Legends. I'm Matt Harvey with Deep Woods Paranormal, and we're making the paranormal normal. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.